Welcome back to the Fight Pit, ladies and gentlemen. You know the drill. We here previewing UFC Fight Night Barboza versus Murphy. Hit the intro music. We back, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, Drew, High Fight IQ, the highest in the room. We got Shaun of the Dead, Mr. Bad Beats, and speaking of welcome back, we have the Gold Mule himself. Kyle is back in the building. So good to have you back, my man.
It is good to be back. I still been pulling the strings a little bit from behind the scenes, but I have been itching to get back on one of these. Let's can predict some fights. I'm so pumped.
It's so good to see your face. I'm so ecstatic. Like I said, man, this is like the highlight of my week every week, and every time I get to see you guys is just makes it all worthwhile, makes it all worth it. We are previewing the Edson Barboza versus Liron Murphy card coming up on, it's May 18th, I believe, is the date on that one. Before we get into it, though, I'm going to shout out our sponsor. As always, the good people at pillowfight.co are taking care of you guys just as well as they take care of us. Blissfully soft and shockingly supportive. Their commitment to premium foams and fibers provides superior comfort, all while being soft enough to cradle you to sleep. It is worth every penny, so invest in your rest. Pillow Fight doesn't skimp on the details, neither should you. It's a 30-year life, people. You got to take it seriously. If you don't get sleep, if you don't get good sleep, not just sleep, but good sleep, quality sleep, hitting that REM sleep on it, it will everything going on in your life. And they are obsessed with making a difference, not only in your sleep, but in the rest of the world. Every purchase with Pillow Fight allows them to donate pillows where they are needed most. So hit up pillowfight.co to order and for more information. Thank you, as always, to the wonderful people at Pillow Fight. Now, it's time to get on down to the nitty gritty. This is our pregame to the Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier card. This is not a bad card at all. It's definitely a fight night, but we do have some banging fights on this one. I'm gonna actually start it off with a women's 115-pound fight. It is a top-ranked contenders fight on this one too. We got both of them in the top 15. Luana Pinheiro versus Angela Hill. We got number 9 versus number 12. Always good to see Angela Hill anytime she is on the card. This one, I'm going to start it off with Shaun. We're going to let you open it up for us. Let us know about Luana Pinheiro versus Angela Hill.
If you look by records just alone, you would think this is another one of those cases what we talk about almost every week, where you got the young versus the old, feeding them, letting them step up. I don't know if I agree with that this time. You got Pinheiro that is 11-2, 2 KOs and 5 subs, which more than a 50% finish rate is pretty damn good when it comes to women's. Definitely the lighter women's too, strawweights. So that's very impressive.
Dude, finishes at 115 like that is amazing.
Yeah. 14 fights, 7 finishes, and she's lost 2. That's pretty damn good. 3-1 in the UFC. Last fight was a KO loss by Amanda Ribas. Nothing to be upset about. Amanda Ribas is legit. I do believe for sure that we got the stronger grappler in Pinheiro, and she's 31 years old, so she's not old, but she's towards the older part of her prime, I would say. Then you have Angela Hill, 16-13. Please don't look at that record and just say she's a bum. That is not the case. She has legitimately fought everyone. She has fought, I think, 9 title challengers and 3 champions. It's not even a joke. She fights everyone. 5 KO wins. no submissions, and the rest are decisions. Either way, win or lose. It's crazy. She doesn't really get finished either. She's definitely the stronger striker. She has the reach. Definitely has cardio. We know that. She's done 5-round fights. She's done 3-round fights. So cardio is not going to be an issue. And she's 39 years old. Yes, she's on the older side, but we've seen she can handle it. My thing with this is, will Angela Hill get the jab going? When she gets the jab going, she does way better against fighters that are liable to getting hit. Definitely with Pinheiro, she got KO'd in her last fight, set up by a jab. I think Angela Hill is going to win this fight by decision. I know I just talked about the finishes, but Angela Hill, once again, does not get finished. She's very tough. She's like Miss Decision of the women's division. And I think Angela Hill is going to win at 29-28. Could she also lose 29-28 while with Pinheiro controlling it on the ground? Could she get submitted? Yeah, she could. But it less likely to happen because she is very good at getting up. No one really holds her down either. So I think Angela Hill, if she stays behind a jab, she could definitely piece her up and win at 29-28. I don't see a 30-27 because Pinheiro is a very, very good fighter and a good prospect coming up. But I'm going to give Angela Hill the nod on this one. 29-28.
I like it. Hill is one of those mainstays that just never goes away. I feel like Angela Hill fights 7 times a year for the past 20 years. It's insane. And she just, to me personally, I don't think that she's ever really looked bad, but she's kind of hit like a resurgence where she's like put it together and been looking not what you would expect at this state of the game at this point in her career. So we got one for Hill on this one too. Is she plus money?
She's minus 150.
Minus 150. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, 12. Well, I don't know if I saw her recently and she was ranked higher. If she got bumped down, I feel like 12 was that's a little far down for her. I felt like I saw her up a little higher recently. But hey, Angela Hill, and if you are keeping score, we 8-3 on our picks for 301 UFC 301. The Fight Pit betting, the Fight Pit predictions, all of our individual picks. We have been 70% hit rate or higher all of 2024. So if you guys are looking for some picks, some predictions, somewhere to lay money, we are not, handicappers. We're not selling picks. We're not, trying to get you signed up on any program or anything. This is just what we do, folks. And if you want to be a part of it, all you got to do is just subscribe and just tune in and watch along with us.
We're fortune tellers here. Let's not sugarcoat it. We're basically fortune tellers.
We should have a thing where we have the records come up on these episodes each week, just so people, when they watch, they can see what the records are and everything.
You know what? That's a great point. I am going to, I have it all the way up to, I think it was up to 300. And then I've been keeping track of individual cards since then, but not the grand total. So I'll update that and we'll make sure that we put it on, at least in the description. I think we could probably get a graphic of it too. I usually am able to get a graphic of where we're at posted on Instagram. So I'll get on that too. We're gonna keep it all rolling, and we have a very special return. This one, a 135 fight, Adrian Yanez versus Vinicius Salvador. And this one is going to be the first one for Kyle returning to the Fight Pit with the picks. Man even though he's been on a bit of a hiatus, he's still been putting in the work. He's still been working behind the scenes, and he's still above 70% hit rate, just as we all are, which is fantastic. So Kai Guy, let us know Adrian Yanez at a minus 400 versus Vinicius Salvador at a plus 300.
Yeah, of course I give myself the longest odds fight to come back to because I'm going with the favorite on this one.
You can't put too much
Come
on.
I'm easing myself back into it. We're dipping our toes in the water just a little bit, but I love this fight quite a bit. Adrian Yanez taking in a 16-5 record. He is coming off of 2 losses, one at the hands of Rob Font, one at the hands of Jonathan Martinez. Really, really tough losses to swallow for Yanez. He did, kind of falter with that big step up in competition going up against Rob Font. On the other side of it, you've got Vinicius Salvador taking in that 14-6 record. He was very impressive on the Contender Series, but he has not gotten that first UFC win, coming off of 2 decision losses. Do not expect this one to go to the ground at all. Adrian Yanez, I don't think, has ever attempted a takedown in the UFC. And for what it's worth, Vinicius Salvador does mix in a takedown every once in a while, but it's usually just to keep opponents guessing. He is by no means a ground specialist. He likes getting done with the hands. 13 wins by knockout, only 1 submission. They're both bringing in around a 40% striking accuracy clip. Adrian Yanez right at 40, and then Vinicius Salvador coming in at 43%. With this one, I'm looking at, Adrian Yanez just having that strength of schedule behind him and the lack of, prove it out of Vinicius Salvador that we've seen in the UFC so far. I think that, he can absolutely turn it around, but this is a really, really tough guy to turn it around against. Adrian Yanez, of course, has 10 knockouts, 2 submissions, 6 first-round finishes, an insane 6.15 significant strikes landed per minute. And on the other side of it, Vinicius Salvador does take more significant strikes than he lands. Significant strikes absorbed coming in at 6.05, and then landed is at 5.44 for Salvador. In this one, I am going to be going with Adrian Yanez. I don't think it'll be necessarily a finish. I think Salvador is going to be able to make it to the end, but Adrian Yanez is going to be looking for it. So sprinkle a little bit of, a little bit on a TKO for Adrian Yanez, but I am fully backing Yanez on this one. Gonna go with the decision though.
Decision for Yanez, and you got to think that he's got a fire lit under his ass after that last one out, because that, I honestly never in a million years did I ever think that things were going to go that way. I knew that it was going to be a tough fight. I knew that either guy had what it takes to get that W, but man, that was an incredible fight. It was an incredible display, and feeling like, Yanez is usually that dude. Yanez is usually the one, dealing out the highlight finishes and whatnot. So
he's so game. Like, that's what I love about Adrian Yanez so much. He just is always game in every fight that he goes to.
No joke. That's going to be a dope one. And some other notable fights to keep your eye on. Definitely, I mean, unless you're a casual, which it's not allowed here, but it does go on other places in the world. You're going to be tuning in from start to finish. Some of the names on this card that you can look forward to that we will definitely be having our eyes on. The first fight of the night, you got Vanessa Demopoulos versus Emily Ducote. Sick strawweight fight. The moving up the card, one of the fights that I'm personally looking forward to, Victor Martinez versus Tom Nolan. And then we also have at middleweight, Abus Magomedov versus Warley Alves. That one is a sleeper. That's a sleeper for sure. You guys know all too well, I think that now probably most known for getting finished by Sean Strickland in that contender fight. But Abus Magomedov he's no slouch, and neither is Warley Alves. So that one, I think that's going to be a sleeper. I think it's going to be a banger. And then, of course, we got Angela Hill. You can't not tune in for Angela Hill. She's just one of those ones that she's a legend. She's a living legend. She's a still competing legend, and you gotta make sure that you're in your seat for an Angela Hill fight, because it's going to be worth every penny. Moving on to what else do we got on this one? The fight for Omar Sy and Rodolfo Bellato. We can't quite figure out if that fight. We have Omar Sy and Rodolfo Bellato listed. We also have Antonio Tricoli listed on this one. Either way, though, regardless of what combination of those three is going on, Omar Sy, man, this guy looks promising. Looks promising.
Looks enormous too. Jesus.
He's got, dude, I hate saying this a lot because it's one of those things that just, even when I hear it come out of my mouth, I'm like, come on. But Omar Sy, to me, looks like he has one of those light heavyweight John Jones bodies where he's big, he's lanky, he's got long limbs. They're not huge. He's muscly, but he's not like Anthony Rumble Johnson muscly. He's just got one of those frames that just it looks very difficult to deal with, and he looks like, you know, everybody that he goes up against just kind of gets that deer in the headlights look. Like, damn, I did not expect this dude to be this big in person. Sean, we both looked at this fight a little bit too. Let me know your thoughts on Omar Sy, regardless of who he goes up against. I know, you know, he's 9-0, and he's a guy that you and I both are pretty excited about seeing.
Oh yeah, this is his UFC debut. He's 6'5" and he's 28 years old. 9-0, 4 KOs, 3 submissions. Only 2 have gone to decision. It's like, this guy is a freak. And on top of it, like you were saying, his build and everything, like John Jones, it didn't kill him to make 205. Same thing with this guy at 6'5", which sounds insane. It doesn't look like it kills him to make this weight. So it looks like he can possibly even take a hit too, which we haven't really seen. We haven't seen that shin tested. He's legitimately hasn't been touched much at all. So I'm excited to see, and if it is against Rodolfo, this is a big prospect fight. I know it's a big thing in all sports. Definitely, like with ESPN, you hear them say like, "Oh, is this the next whoever?" When I see Rodolfo Bellato versus Omar Sy, I'm immediately thinking Islam Makhachev versus Amar Tazoukian. I'm like, we're watching the young ones that we might see later on contending. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, ooh, we might have some really young prospects we found really quickly that they could shoot right through the rankings. Don't miss out on whoever's fighting this fight, because regardless of the 3 fighters, you got prospects galore.
Man, it's that like new breed. It's the Peyton Talbots of the world that are just these complete mixed martial artists that have been training nothing but MMA. It's not necessarily, you know, like, oh, I was a wrestling guy that got into it. I was a judo guy that got into it. I was a boxing, but, you know, this, that, or the other. We have these just complete mixed martial artists that have been doing it specifically, you know, training MMA from the beginning. So it's a really exciting time.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great comparison too with Islam and Arman, and either way that this matchup ends up going down, you've got Omar Sy at undefeated 9-0. He will either be going up against a 12-2 or a 12-3 record. So you've got a winning record, you got a fantastic record, and you got a fantastic fight, whichever way you dice it. And Bellato too, one thing that I saw is that guy he's one of those guys that he's so durable. He's so durable. He has a knack for second round finishes. He has, I feel like, you know, in that fight, if it's Bellato, if Omar Sy, he needs to get going. If he can get to work straight away, I feel like he could definitely get a first round stoppage in that one. But especially with Bellato. Bellato is one of those dudes that, regardless of how dark it is and how much that things are just caving in on him, if you shine just the littlest bit of light in that tunnel, he's capable of finding his way out. So that one, either way that you dice it, that's going to be a sweet fight. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that one. If you know, depending on how they get it matched up and everything, I think that Omar Sy by a finish is definitely one of the bets that we're going to be taking with the fight pick. Is there? Can we agree on a certain type of finish? Are we thinking TKO or sub?
Give me a sub. I want it to be crafty.
Get it to the ground with the hands and then finish with a sub on a desperation shot.
I like it. I like it quite a bit.
That could be the case.
Beautiful. Man, if you guys haven't seen the Aumar Sai head kick in it should be on YouTube, but it's a sweet highlight. Definitely make sure you check that one out. And then let's get into the co-main event. We got Chaos Williams versus Carlston Harris.
What a name.
Dude, I love Chaos. Dude, I love Chaos Williams.
And it's not even, it's spelled with a K too. Like, got his own little spin on it and everything.
That's how you know.
It's the bet. It's the
He looks like a goddamn Titan. Like, Jesus Christ.
Man, Chaos Williams in 2020 was one of my favorite fighters that year. My gosh.
I think it goes without saying, I'm a huge fan of anybody who spells a nickname incorrectly. I got quite a bit of experience with that one too. The records for this one: Chaos Williams 14-3, 7 KO wins, 1 submission win, 6 decisions, versus Carlston Harris 19-5, 5 KOs, 6 subs, 8 decision wins. I'm gonna go. We'll start with Sean on this one. We'll take it back counterclockwise. Sean, how do you see this co-main event going at welterweight?
This one's tricky for sure, and the odds say the same thing. Harris has been knocked out before, but his only UFC loss was by a KO by Shavkat Rakhmonov, and that is no goddamn slouch.
It happened.
There's a lot of people that have been knocked out by Shavkat Rakhmonov.
There's a reason Shavkat, I think, is 18-0 or 17-0 in all finishes. Like, Harris, don't feel bad about that, and don't put that into the factor in this bet. And then Chaos Williams, his only losses have been by decision, so you can't finish the man either. So this is one of those fights is like, picking finish is really tough in this fight altogether. But at the same point, both these guys, you got 8 finishes and 11 finishes. It's like, oof, but they can get it done. My thing I'm looking for in this fight is Harris is older and he is a lot lighter. He doesn't carry the muscle, is the ground game, because he does have the submissions. He has the grappling experience, the wrestling, and submission experience. Does he focus on that setup? I tell every time I talk about this, if you're great at grappling, learn how to throw a jab. Get behind a damn jab. It sets up every takedown on earth. And if he could get behind a jab, which sometimes he doesn't do, I think he could easily win by decision in this fight. It could be a quick 30-27, him just wearing him down. Once again, Williams is durable, but at the same point, he can gas a little bit. He has slowed down in those decision losses. He slows down. That is the method for Harris to win, but Harris could also get his head taken off by Williams. The guy's Chaos Williams for a reason. His power, his striking is very clean. This is such a damn close pick. I'm going to pick the more well-rounded mixed martial artist and the older guy. This is my second fight in a row. I'm picking the older of the two. The old dogs are not dying today by my hands. So I'm going Carlston Harris by decision. I'm going to say 29-28, but it could be 30-27 if he gets it to the ground.
I like it. That makes sense. And I think that these days, especially with the way things have been going, a lot of the old guard, we see it on just about every card, getting fed to the new up-and-comers. But experience matters. Experience matters. And being able to have the confidence of knowing that going into a fight, no matter who you're going up against, they're not going to show you anything that you haven't seen before. It makes a difference for sure. I like that pick. Harris, what's the rounds and what's the method? Is it unanimous decision, you said 30-27.
Yeah, I'm going to say either 29-28 or 30-27, but it's going to be unanimous. It won't be split.
All right, we got unanimous decision, fight to go the distance, over 2.5. And Harris as how much was he at a dog?
Plus 105.
105. Okay, so still getting some plus money on it too, just about 1.5.
Good parlay move.
Very good
parlay leg.
$1 and a nickel for Harris on that one. Kyle, we getting a split on this one?
Oh, probably, man. This fight is just so tough to pick, though. Like, that's the thing. You look at Chaos Williams with the 5.77 significant strikes landed per minute. Yes, he takes it right back with 5.33 absorbed per minute, and then 0 takedowns in the UFC. You know what you're getting with Chaos Williams. He's a weapon. He's going to try to take your freaking head off. He's got, 39% striking accuracy, a little bit lower than you would necessarily want to see. On the other side of it, of course, you've got the much more well-rounded Carlston Harris, the savvy veteran. This is definitely one that, if it goes into the later rounds, it is going to be Carlston Harris's game. Chaos Williams has, shown that tendency to burn a lot of energy early. That being said, he can get the knockout at any point. He showed it when he got a third round knockout against, I believe, who was that? It's Miguel Baeza. There we go. And yeah, so Chaos Williams can shut the lights out at any point during the fight. I'm talking myself out of this. I'm going with Chaos Williams, and I'm going with a TKO. I just think it's going to be a little bit too much for Harris. I think, he has shown some really, really savvy grappling. I think he's going to be able to implement it, but the power of Chaos Williams is just going to be too much. And yeah, give me second round TKO.
Second round TKO for Williams. We got a 1-1 on that one. I do like it. I dig the sunglasses too. Also, very sweet move.
I had to do it. I had to pay homage to the man who's been holding it down.
Oh, you are too kind, sir. You are too kind. The finish bets on this one too. I think probably I haven't got to look at them, because we're pretty far out. They're probably not available on William Hill yet. But I gotta say that I think that the method of victory finishes lines on this one probably aren't going to be too long. I think that the odds makers are going to be expecting a finish, so I do like the overs in these, over 1.5, the over 2.5, the decisions, fight to go the distance. The finishes on this one though, I'm not going to be surprised. I would not be surprised at a Chaos Williams KO. Wouldn't be surprised at a Harris submission. Either way,
easily could be fight of the night as well. Like this is a really fun matchup.
Facts. That's factual. If it makes it to the cards, I would say this. I think possibly the Tom Nolan fight on the prelims. That one. It's hard for me to lay too much stock into it too, because it's still really early. But I think that this one, the Nolan fight, and then the main event that we're about to get into, it's gonna, in my opinion, it's gonna be between those three. One of those is gonna be the one that takes it home. The pick I'm going with on this one, I'm gonna say over 1.5. And I'm gonna, same thing too, dude. I'm like talking myself out of it too as I go with it, because Sean made so many games. I'm gonna say it's over 1.5. I'm gonna go with Williams money line, but for sure, if you're making parlays, you've got to get Harris in on there too, because the money is good. It's so close. It's so possible that it goes either way. There's no way to really lay too much confidence in a certain type of victory on this one. For official pick's sake, I'm going to go Williams, but I'm sprinkling Harris. Absolutely. And then for the main event on this one too, we got another possible fight of the night. If there isn't a finish, it's going to be exciting either way. We have the living legend himself, Edson Barboza, going up against Lerone. I see Lerone and Lerone. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm going to say Lerone Murphy. Edson Barboza had a 24-11 record, 14 KO wins. My God. 1 submission win, 9 decision wins, going up against Lerone Murphy at a beautiful 13-0-1. Chef's kiss.
That looks like a fight pit record after a good night, man. I like that.
Yeah, man. He must be following. He must be subscribed with a record like that. 7 KO wins, 6 decision wins with a 13-0-1 record. Exciting fight. Never a boring fight when Edson Barboza is involved, and Lerone Murphy has shown that he is one of those guys as well. He can walk that walk. He can be in there with the exciting fighters and keep it an exciting fight. It's going to be a good one. We did see I do believe that Lerone Murphy, he had a different fight scheduled earlier this year, and I think that one, I think he had to pull out of that one for one reason or another. I can't remember exactly what card it was. I remember us breaking it down, and I remember Lerone Murphy being on it and then having to switch it up. But regardless, I hope that everything's going well with him. I hope he's ready because he's got a fight on his hands. Kyle, I'm going to start with you on this one. Let us know what you got for Edson Barboza and Lerone Murphy at 145.
Man, this is like Sean, you were saying it earlier, the old saying of the veteran being fed to the young guy. We love Edson Barboza. We know what he's all about. His striking is just so damn fun to watch. And he's going up against that new breed, like I was mentioning earlier, that complete mixed martial artist. You know, Lerone Murphy definitely prefers the knockout, but he will sprinkle in a takedown. He will threaten submissions. He has got a very, very well-rounded game. In this fight, I'm looking to see if Edson Barboza can keep this a clean, pure striking match, keep it outside, stay behind the jab, try and circle around Murphy, frustrate him a little bit, force this to the scorecards, because Lerone Murphy will be looking for a finish. He likes that knockout. He'll be trying to get it. And if he can make a statement over a big name like Edson Barboza, he will take that opportunity. With this one, I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of Edson Barboza by decision. Give me Lerone Murphy by a first round knockout. I'm liking the young guy. I'm liking the young guy on this one.
Ooh, baby. I'm not surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised if, that old clip on the red mats with where the two guys knocked each other out at the same time. One of those. I would not be surprised if that. Both of these guys can crack. Both of these guys have the striking to get it done. And it's so difficult to call. There's 21 knockout wins between them.
Oh yeah, dude. It's ridiculous,
dude. And it's as striking discipline base, it's a match made in heaven for me. It's a very early Christmas gift, a very early birthday gift. I love these matchups. So good. Not that I don't like the grappling. I love grappling. There's a reason mixed martial arts is my favorite sport, because I love when they mix the martial arts. But just something about amazing strikers, just very versatile strikers, exciting strikers, and mixing in the grappling, always having the threat of it. So it's not just going to stay a striking match. It doesn't have to stay a striking match. Things could go any which way, and we have no idea. It just gets my heart going. Man. Sean, let us know what you got for this one. This one is probably one that we're going to be split on too. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm been leaning towards Edson Barboza. It's very difficult for me to pick against Edson Barboza. I've said it before that he's just one of those guys that every single fight that he's in, win or lose, he gives you one of those oh shit moments. So Sean, let us know, are we gonna get unanimous? Are we gonna get split on this one? How's it going?
Well, do you know which one you're going with? If you know which one, if you're going with the favorite, you go first. If not, I'll go.
My heart is with Barboza. I have to go with Barboza.
All right. Then I'll just go then and let you finish up then. I already picked 2 older competitors today, and these old dogs ain't dying today. They're just not. We got Edson Barboza. If you even watch Edson Barboza's last fight, we were on that for the fight pit, and we all went against Edson Barboza, and he got his ass whooped that first round, but he survived the storm, and the next 4 rounds he put it to it in an incredible fight. Edson Barboza is a dog, and definitely against strikers. Laron Murphy, yes, can sprinkle him takedowns, can try for submissions, has 0 of them. And it doesn't mean he can't get the submission, but you're going against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Remember, Khabib couldn't get the finish against Edson Barboza. Is this the same Edson Barboza against Khabib? No. But is Edson Barboza looking very good at 145? Of course. Edson Barboza in a 5-round fight against a striker is scary for any opponent. And even at 145, you can put against the top strikers. I don't think Max Holloway really wants to go against Edson Barboza in his striking. His legs are going to get fucked up. It's just one of those things. I like Edson Barboza. I'm going to say 4 rounds to 1, 49-46. I think it's kind of going to be the same thing. Laron Murphy is going to probably get a really good first round. If he doesn't get him out of there, Edson Barboza he's 5'11". He has the ground game too. Will he try takedowns? Probably not. That's just not what Barboza does. He's going to stand. But if he does get taken down, he's not afraid of it. By any means, he's not afraid of it. He could go for submissions, which he only has 1 also. So really don't put any money on submissions in this fight. I really wouldn't do that. Just avoid that. But I'm going Edson Barboza by decision 49-46, and this could win my fight of the night.
Hell
I like it.
yes.
I like it.
Hell yes. This is, I gotta say, it's got to be the front runner for fight of the night, depending on who Aomar Sai's opponent ends up being, because this, to your point, this does remind me a lot of the last fight that he had, Barboza versus Sadiq Youssef. Laron Murphy, Sadiq Youssef, both exciting dudes, newer to the game, not rookies or anything, but definitely newer to the game, and posing the same threats, posing the same, game and the same type of opponent for Edson Barboza to work with. Guy that you have to worry about on the feet, a guy that can grapple, has what it takes to grapple if he needs to, but it's definitely not the sole game plan that he's going to be going in against. Like I said, my heart is always with Edson Barboza. Unless Edson Barboza is fighting anybody named Khabib or Gaethje, I'm picking Edson Barboza. The moments that guy has provided and that he continues to provide, still looking the way that he does in, how old is he now? What is he, late 30s?
38, 39?
38 years old.
38. Oh my God.
Still a weapon.
That is, it's still a very dangerous weapon. Still one of the most exciting and one of the most dangerous people on the feet. He's got finishes at every level. At one point, he was the only person with that, to his credit. I don't know. There might be other people that have done it now, but he's the only person with TKO finishes to the head, body, and legs of opponents. And that's just, you can never, ever count that out.
That's insane.
Right?
Oh, that's a great stat.
Being able to finish people on the feet in any way that presents itself is, like I said, I don't know. There could be people that have managed to put that together since then. But at one point, he may or may not still be the only one. But at one point, he was the only guy with TKO finishes on the feet, going to the head, the body and the legs. And I got to go with Edson Barboza. I got to go with a TKO finish. I'm going to say over 1.5, but I don't think this one quite makes it to the 5th round. I think that if it's just a knockdown, drag out brawl, if these guys are just hurting each other left and right, at some point someone gets rocked and is forced to clinch up. It might hit the cage a little bit. There might be a takedown here and there, but I think that, you know, unless there's some kind of devastating strike that happens early on, I see this being a stand-up battle. I see this, you know, guys going shot for shot, much like some of the other fights that Barboza has been into. Shane? Dang it, I missed it. Burgos, that's the one. Yes. I see it going similar to that one. I see this being two guys that are just devastating on the feet, back and forth, landing, trading shots. I go, you go, and whichever one of us is able to accumulate enough damage to put the other one down first. I'm going to say over 1.5. I think it's going to be an Edson Barboza TKO standing. I think that I'm going to say 3rd round. Because I don't think it goes too super late, but not going to be surprised at all if it does get to a decision, because Edson Barboza is one of those veterans that knows how to win a decision over the long haul. But my official pick, going Barboza, baby. Got to go with Barboza on this one. That wraps up the picks for the fight night. We're going to get into some news. The one thing that I wanted to hit first, we have our boy Peyton Talbot got announced for a fight. I'm trying to pull up the name of his opponent real quick. It's somebody that I had not heard of before. I want to say
friend of the show, Peyton Talbot, Giannis Gamori.
How do you say Gamori?
Gamori, I think that is shot in the dark.
Okay. Oh, he's got a 12-2 record. All right. Well, I knew that it was somebody that we haven't really heard too much about.
Yeah, he made his debut in September of last year. Coming off he got TKO'd as a loss to William Gomez.
Goodness. Okay. Well, that
we're riding with our guy Peyton.
This was one of those. It really feels like they're doing a layup,
which is totally understandable, and I'm totally cool with it, because we said, like we were saying before we got started, it's a smart move. It's one that the most recent we saw Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley, credit to him, he was very open about it. He was putting dudes away that, after every single one of his fights, people were like, you need to step up. You need to fight bigger names. You need to get bigger fights. You need to push for a title shot. You need to do this. You need to do that. And he was like, dude, I'm on my rookie contract. I am getting paid. I'm getting paid, whatever it was, 8,000. I'm getting paid 8 and 8. I'm getting paid 10 and 10.
Show and win bonus or something like that.
And that, despite being one of the biggest stars, one of the biggest prospects that we had ever seen, rocket to the top. It's a smart move. It's a smart move to be like, hey, I'm getting paid rookie money. I'm going to fight rookie type fights. I'm going to fight the other up and comers, even though I got a big name, even though I could be fighting bigger names and stuff. I'm not getting paid big name money. So I'm not going to be putting myself out there and risking losing my win streak, risking losing my clout, risking using my big name and the potential that I have moving forward, just to put it out there against a big name for you guys as early as possible. So I like it. And Peyton's a dog. He's
the man.
He's the fucking man. Put it to whoever they put in front of him. So it's obvious who our pick is going to be. Peyton is 8-0, undefeated. I'm pretty sure he's still got 100% finish rate, right?
I think that is accurate.
Yeah.
Let me verify that.
Unless it was one of his first 2 fights. I thought everything since then has been finishes.
I think you're right. I think you're right. 'Cause I know
decision.
he had all finishes through A1 Combat, and I know that he had all finishes so far in the UFC.
Oh, it
He's
was
got
Contender
one.
Series.
Oh, Contender Series?
Contender Series that was the decision. So, like,
Wow.
fucking ticky-tack decision.
But those are only
It
2
was
rounds, right?
unanimous,
Those aren't
though.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
So they didn't even give it a 3rd round. So, like,
Either way, it was dominant. It was unanimous. You know how we do it. We're going with Peyton no matter what. This is already, we don't even need to wait for the episode. You know who we're going with. If you guys had to say where Peyton goes after a win on the biggest, one of the biggest cards of the year, it's kind of hard to say with, in the same year as UFC 300, but this one is going to be on the, which number is it? 303.
Colorado card, baby.
And having Peyton Talbot on the same card as, well, I mean, obviously we got the biggest names on there. Let me see who else is rolling on this card. So goes without saying, Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler, but having Peyton Talbot on the same card as McGregor and Chandler, Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree, Cub Swanson and Andre Feely, Karate Hottie and Jillian Robertson, dude, Joe Pfeiffer and Barry Alt. Bro.
I forgot that was on there.
Peyton Talbot as the second fight of the night. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh.
Dude, you gotta give him. You gotta give him.
Definitely
top 15.
going to give. Absolutely. I think that's got to be the best possible scenario for somebody in his situation, where the hype is there. He's building that name. He's got the character. He's got the personality. Everybody loves it. He's got the finishes. He's got the exciting fighting style. That's the best case scenario, especially if you're fighting. Everybody in the UFC is dangerous. 12-2, nothing to slouch, nothing to, really. It's not a big name fight, like I said, but it's a contender. It's a dangerous fight either way. Yeah. What's the early prediction for the method of victory on this one?
Give me a knockout, clean, flying knee.
Clean fight. Oh, how about another second round TKO? Peyton has been good to me on the second round finish bets thus far. I'm gonna say a second round TKO. For the next one coming up, we have Islam Makhachev and Dustin Poirier. We're going to be breaking that one down in depth, in detail. However, this may or may not be Dustin Poirier's swan song. I hope it's not, but it may or may not be Dustin Poirier's swan song. Sean, what do you expect out of this fight? You don't have to give a prediction for a finish. You don't have to give a breakdown or anything, but what are you expecting in this fight? Is this one actually see Dustin Poirier having the chance, or is this a curtain call?
I think Dustin Poirier, what he has to do something a little different, because Islam has already broke down his championship fights, basically, as he does decent on the striking, but that gets taken down and eventually gives up the neck both times, Khabib and Charles. He's had moments in both fights where he looked like he could either submit or do something in the fight against Khabib, the guillotine, and then Charles Oliveira had him on his back, was on top of him, could have landed ground and pound, but he even said he was afraid of getting caught in something. I think he has to throw caution to the wind when it comes to if he gets that moment. If he gets that moment where it's like, there's a chance I could end this, he has to throw caution to the wind. Just go for it. Go for the win. And that's really my idea of the only chance for him. And if not, I'm going to take him from to his word. If he loses, he has other things he wants to do in life. He has children, all this stuff. He'll be out at a championship that's 0-3 in championship fights. I do believe he calls it quits. If he retires, I'm going to keep him at his word.
And I don't think anybody would blame him at all. There's aside from specific little things like records, most fights, most wins, most performance bonuses, things like that. Very, very little for Dustin Poirier to accomplish left in this sport. I argue with people about this all the time. To me, interim belts count. So
yes, 100%.
He's already been a champion. He's fought for belts on multiple occasions. He's fought for interim belts. He's fought for undisputed belts. He fought for the BMF belt. And in my opinion, I always say, like, just the way that I look at it, not as a competitor, but just as a sports fan in general, as a fan of fighters and mixed martial artists and everything. Interim belts to me count because if the champion gets injured, he sits out. If the champion gets suspended, he sits out. If the champion is just inactive, he sits out. To me, I don't care why the champion is out. If the champion's out, the champion's out. You don't count. When you come back, you matter. But if you're out, you're out. And if you're not in the game, the game moves on. So as far as Dustin Poirier's accomplishments with the championship belts and everything, I feel like win or lose on this one, he's already accomplished it. He's already hit the top of the mountain. He's already seen it all, done it all. Kyle, what's the impressions on this one?
Man, I have to agree with Sean on this one. I'm going to take Dustin Poirier at his word, simply because, like you said, there's not much else he has to accomplish. So if this is that one mountain that he can't climb, I do see him hanging it up. And for what it's worth, I'm a huge Dustin Poirier fan. I kind of hope that is the case, just because I've always wanted for my favorite fighters to be able to step away from the sport gracefully. I don't want to see an Anderson Silva situation. I want to see a Chuck Liddell situation where they hang on and hang on and hang on, because then it just gets too, like Tony Ferguson comes to mind. Then it just gets too much. As far as how the fight goes, I can absolutely see Dustin Poirier finally getting that, undisputed gold. He has the hands to do it. And I think that he, like Sean said, he has to let the aggression go. He's played it safe in title fights before, and it has cost him. He isn't, he's 0-3 in undisputed title fights for a reason. It just is, it's disappointing. He's the greatest fighter to never hold undisputed gold, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, I do see, Islam Makhachev having a little bit, more paths to victory than Dustin Poirier. But we're going to do a full breakdown on this card, in the coming weeks.
Yeah, baby. And I cannot wait. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. And I think that we're going to have a solid episode on that one too. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be everything that we look for in these breakdowns and these episodes. The last thing that we're going to hit before we wrap this one up, we got UFC 304 in Manchester, I believe, right?
Yes.
Manchester, United Kingdom on July 27th. The Manchester cards very, very rarely do not deliver. They do not have it's still TBD on the main event on this one too. Let's toss a couple options out there. Let's toss some scenarios. Let's make some tentative predictions on this one, what we want to see and what we're expecting on this one too. That goes without saying, you got to try to get the guys on there. You got to try to get the main. You got to be looking at the Aspinalls. You got to be looking.
I got to get this. I'm so glad you brought up Tom, because I got to get this off my chest. John Jones needs to stop being a chicken shit and running from Tom Aspinall, and he needs to fight on the Manchester card. I'm so sick of all of this. Oh, should John Jones fight Stipe? Should John Jones do this? Should John Jones fight Alex Pereira? No, John Jones is the champion of the heavyweight division. So John Jones should fight the interim champion, Tom Aspinall. He is the best contender in the division. Tom Aspinall is the number one contender. That is why he's the interim champion. I don't understand why we have to have this debate of, oh, who should John Jones fight? Would you rather see him fight Stipe? I'd rather see him fight the person he is supposed to fight as the champion. You talked about champions being out for whatever reason. They're running, they're doing this, they're doing that. John Jones needs to cut the shit, get in the octagon, and defend the championship that he so ardently was like, I'll defend this. I want to be an active champion. Bullshit. No, you do not. You just wanted to try and smear Daniel Cormier's legacy just a little bit more. And in the long run, you're just, shitting all over your own legacy by avoiding the true number one contender in Tom Aspinall. I'm off my soapbox.
Get him. Get him. I could not agree more. Could not agree more. And that's no knock on John Jones. He's the man. He's the GOAT. He is.
Absolutely.
He's
no doubt about it. He's the most talented mixed martial artist we have ever seen compete. He's also being a chicken shit right now.
Ooh, I'm going to disagree with that point. He's not my GOAT, and he's not the most talented.
He's not my GOAT, but he is the most talented. Keep going.
Demetrius Johnson.
Rebuttal.
Demetrius Johnson. I will argue that every day. Demetrius Johnson is the greatest fighter I have ever witnessed fight, and the UFC did him so dirty for all those years. Demetrius Johnson is my guy.
The flying armbar will live in my brain forever.
God.
Can you, in this day and age, wrap your head around the fact that while Demetrius Johnson was champion, while he was active, while he was completely demolishing the entire division, they wanted to do away with that division?
It gets on me every time. Like, I love watching flyweights fight.
Imagine being so dominant that you almost make your own division obsolete. Like, that's the level of just ass kickery that was happening for like what, a decade?
And to Sean's point, that's at no point have they ever talked about doing away with light heavyweight. Have they ever talked about doing away with heavyweight, with even middleweight when Anderson Silva was going, with welterweight when GSP was going, with lightweight when Khabib was going? At no point have they ever talked about doing away with any division other than Demetrius Johnson's. For any reason, there was never even a debate. There was never a discussion. There wasn't a sticky note on someone's board. That's the only time, and that's got to be one of the most disrespectful. Or one of the most disrespected champions of all time, if not the most disrespected. And man,
I just did it right now.
The GOAT debate is such a difficult one for me too, because it's one that I always just end up being frustrated with at the end of it. But yeah, jumping back to 304, you got to be looking at Aspinall, regardless of who it is. If you put him in, if you let Pereira go up and try to do it, I'm not.
If Pereira goes up and fights Aspinall, it should be for the undisputed championship, and they should strip John Jones. Like, if they make that matchup, it doesn't make sense for an interim championship.
I am very much down with that. I'm very much down with that. And then also the other big one you got to be looking at is welterweight.
Leon Edwards versus Leon Muhammad.
I don't want it to be Bilal. I think
I don't either, but UK is known for giving basically layups to the UK main event, other than Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades, which I believe should be the fight, in my opinion. But
that's what it's looking like.
I like it. Curtis Blades wants it. Tom Aspinall wants it.
You know he wants that.
I'm in.
Oh yeah,
I'm in. Tom said anytime, anywhere against Curtis Blades. They have respect for each other. Curtis Blades has paid his dues. I'm in. But the same thing with like Bilal's like, yes, no one wants to watch Bilal Muhammad fight. I love the kid that's fucking, Shavkat, 100%.
Give me Shavkat versus Leon on that card.
100%, but they're not going to do that. It's just
no.
They'll do that once it comes back to Vegas. They'll do that in California at Madison Square Garden. They'll do it. They're not going to do that in the UK. It's just not happening.
Not going to put on a very dangerous opponent for the hometown fighter too. And hate to mention it, always takes me back to Bisping versus Henderson too. I will die on the hill that Dan Henderson won that fight and that Bisping only retained that belt because he was the hometown favorite on that one. But
this is like the only time that like hometown advantage is so real.
Dude, in Brazil, in Mexico, and the UK, if you're going up against any of those guys there, you just got to know you have to get a finish, because if it goes to the cards and there's any sliver of a possibility that they can justify giving the decision to the hometown guy, that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Is that all as far as the Manchester card? Is there any other ones that you think that we need to throw on there?
You gotta get Patty on there somehow. Gotta get
Bobby Green, Patty Pimblett. Let's go. Bobby Green made the perfect call out. Patty Pimblett. Who wouldn't want to see that?
That would be sweet.
Oh, Bobby Green being the bad guy all week. I'm in. Give me that. Bobby Green, Patty Pimblett.
Dude, heel Bobby Green would be just perfect.
Oh man, he doesn't even have to change. He's already heel or face.
So good.
Yeah, it's such a good role, character, and personality. I think he is actually this person. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't think he plays it up.
I saw a post earlier today. One of the guys that I'm cool with on TikTok, LK MMA, shout out. He did a video on a post where Patty Pimblett was responding. I can't remember who it was, but there was another contender that was calling out Patty Pimblett, and he was agreeing to it, saying, give me the contract. So I think either way, regardless of who it is, Patty's for sure going to be on that card. Yeah. And giving him, Patty Pimblett and Bobby Green would be
the king going to England. Are you kidding me?
Oh man.
Like, are you kidding me with that?
He'll wear a crown. He's going to wear a crown. There's no doubt about it. Oh man.
Let's call it in the air right now. Does Patty Pimblett get Bobby Green to the ground?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I'll give him over 0.5 for sure.
The volume of takedown, I think.
And how many knockdowns too? Can we get knockdowns?
If he gets him to the ground, does he get a submission, or do we see a Patty Pimblett decision?
I don't think he can finish. I don't think he can finish Bobby Green.
Yeah,
we've seen Bobby Green finish by submission in the past. Very rarely. We've seen him. I believe more often we've seen him win by submission than lose by submission. But I personally, Patty Pimblett's ground game,
it's solid.
It's solid.
It's good. Yeah.
Stand up wise. I don't think he gets close enough to Bobby Green. I think Bobby Green is just one of those strikers where, hands down, very elusive in his defense, constantly cutting angles.
His movement is unbelievable.
Absolutely. And his head movement, his defense is sneaky good. Even if it looks like stuff's landing, it's not landing. You have to put him out. And I think, Bobby Green and Patty Pimblett would be so sweet. Bobby Green, Patty Pimblett, Leon versus
most likely Bilal. I want.
And I think that would be the main event because it's undisputed.
Who probably,
unless they strip John Jones.
If they strip John, can you imagine?
They won't. Not until the Stipe fight happens, because it is still, people are going to pay to see it. Two guys most likely retiring. Yeah.
It would go crazy. So we got Patty Pimblett, Bobby Green. We got Leon and Bilal, and Aspinall versus
somebody. Blades.
You got three choices, but Blades is most likely. You could definitely do who is the other one that's up there right this moment? Shit. I'm having a brain fart on it big time. Oh, Surreal Gone. You could do Surreal Gone, even though, but it's like even Tom doesn't have the interest in it. He's like, you ducked me, fuck you. You ducked Curtis Blades, fuck you. So it's like, don't want anything to do with you. And then obviously, if the new King of Rio, Mr. Over Alex Pereira, wants to show up too, Tom Aspinall's all for it. He's been saying that he was on stage with him and he felt that guy thought he could beat me. So he already knew that Alex Pereira is in the future.
That picture of Aspinall watching Pereira, oh my God.
Dude, I'm in for it as much as I think Aspinall one takedown and that'll be it. But if it's on the feet, you can never question Alex Pereira.
Nope.
Never.
That's true. Either way they dice it, man. We got some the potential for some even more exciting fights in these divisions coming up too. And we've already had a stellar year so far in 2024. We've been, from time to time, we get a little complacent. We get bored. We say, man, all these fight nights aren't living up. The Apex isn't living up. We deserve more with these cards. That's not where we stand on the fight pit. We're happy to just have fights at all. But as far as the matchups that we've seen so far and the matchups that we have the potential to see to finish out 2024, it's a fantastic time to be a fight fan. It's a fantastic.
Could not be better, man. My gosh.
Could not. We've been spoiled. And that, friends, family, is going to wrap up our Fight Pit episode. UFC Fight Night, Barboza versus Murphy. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As always, it's your boy, Drew. We got Kyle back. We got Sean, and we will see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fight Pit on YouTube, High Fight IQ, the House Call Sports, the official Fight Pit on Instagram. You can find all of us there. Make sure you follow us. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for the love. We are going to keep doing it. You guys keep tuning in. We got you. That's going to wrap it up, everybody. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.